Taneka Reaves and Johnny Caldwell began Cocktail Bandits 5 years ago as a blog. And now, 5 years later, they're entrepreneurs, co-authors, and they're household names across the Charleston food and beverage scene. I sit down one-on-one with the two ladies for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Well, it's the Cocktail Bandits.
Indeed.
Finally, finally on the show. I'm so glad.
Oh, thank you, greatly.
Happy to be here.
Waiting for this moment for a while,
Well,
sir.
we appreciate it. Same
Of
here.
course.
What does Cocktail Bandits mean to you these days?
That's a great question. First, I'm Johnny Caldwell.
Yes.
And I'm Taneka Reaves.
And we are the Cocktail Bandits.
Ladies talk cocktails daily. Get that out the way first.
That's right, yes.
But I mean, Cocktail Bandits is just so much more than just a business. I think to both of us at this time, I think we really found who we were, our true selves, throughout this whole process of building this brand. So it just means it represents so much more than just cocktail culture. We're so much beyond just the beverages. So I think we are trendsetters, we're influencers, we're social activists. We are, world travelers. We're a lot of different things. And I think Cocktail Bandits also means so much to our audience too, more than just the drinks.
Yeah, I think it's a movement. I think the Cocktail Bandits is a full-on evolving movement. So our goals 5 years ago aren't the same as they are right now. So it's just growing. We're all about the community. It's about Charleston, representing an underrepresented group in Charleston and being able to be a voice for people who haven't really been able to speak in the city.
Let me get back to that in just a few minutes. I got a couple of questions here.
Okay.
It's summer here in Charleston.
It is.
What's that favorite drink and why now?
Oh boy, hot. It is hot. It is hot.
I got the wrong jacket on too.
I'm saying, we complain about our perfect weather we have here in Charleston, but I think we call the drinks that you drink this time of year porch pounders. So you want something that's light, refreshing, that's going to hydrate you, that's not going to make you feel heavy. So we like to do something with tea. It's going to be refreshing. Maybe a tea cocktail. All right, green tea is good for you. Something like that, and just something with fresh juice is always good.
Wow.
I'm going to say our cocktail, the Peninsula tea.
Oh, yes.
Because it's made with Firefly, which is a local staple. It is our first cocktail that we made when we were actually asked to go to our first festival. So and Charleston Place helped us with that cocktail in the very beginning. So being able to have this cocktail evolve with us and grow with us is always going to be my favorite drink in Charleston.
And for those non-alcoholic drinkers like myself, what is that drink out there?
You can do a Peninsula tea without the alcohol.
Yeah.
We have a tea plantation, so you can do it with just tea and the other ingredients and without the booze. So we have, in our book, Holy Spirits, we have alcoholic and non-alcoholic recipes because all of our friends love to have some form of a drink, but everyone doesn't like alcohol.
Right.
So we are equal opportunity in our book.
Wow.
Indeed.
And I know that you went to the summer shindig over the weekend. When you look back at that to right now, what still plays in your mind about that event?
The camaraderie, the fact that the whole city pretty much gets together and dances, and you had Benjamin Starr out there, you had Matt Monday, and you also had Two Slices.
Right.
So to be able to have the diversity in Charleston and the music, the music scene is growing. It ties into our brand too because we like to have music involved in our events and just getting to know the local Charlestonian artist.
That's right. And let me get back to the book, Holy Spirits, Charleston Culture Do Our Cocktails.
Yeah.
What is your spirit right now that this book has been published?
I'm in high spirits. I'm in exciting spirits. We are the first Black women to write a cocktail book ever. So that has put us on a different tier, but it's also a lot more pressure because you're realizing that we're not just doing things for people here. We have people in Africa who send us messages and they're like, we're inspired by you. We see women that are doing stuff that look like me and it makes me happy. And
I understand this too, that from my research that a college friend suggested to you, the current popular blog that is, and that the Evening Post books recently suggested and published your first book. But you had some pushback in the beginning.
Absolutely.
And I know, Taneka, you basically told the art magazine this quote, we decided to jump out on faith and start our own thing. What was your faith like then, and what's your faith like now?
That's a great question, Quintin. Before we started Cocktail Bandits, we really did a spiritual cleanse. We didn't know exactly what we wanted to do in life. I was having a hard time finding employment after school. So was my business partner. So we just did some soul searching. We really started listening to positive messages every day. Just started finding people that were online that were following the path, having that peace that we were looking for. And when we cleansed and when we prayed about it, when we asked what should we be doing in the city, it kind of came to us slowly. And we don't take our position lightly. We know that people drink in the city, but we also like to show that it can be a balance. It doesn't have to be about you getting drunk and raging around. You can be drinking just to support a local artisan who's making a craft soda, who's making a craft syrup, who's doing these things. So I think we came in with great intentions. I think that the universe gave us what we asked for, and then they've opened doors for us that we didn't even expect to be open.
Johnny, where was your faith?
My faith was definitely at that moment a little shaky. I mean, when we started this business, we were at a place where we felt like we didn't have a whole lot of options, so we had to create our own lane. And when you have people in your community who outright are telling you that there's no market for this, no one's going to support this, no one wants to see two black girls running around Charleston drinking all the time. And I think that really put some fire underneath us to really legitimize what we were doing. So I think in the beginning we were moving to sort of prove something to some amorphous person, but at this point I think our faith and our drive is to keep being better and to produce a great product and to show all the possibilities, not only just in the spirits and food community, but just what you can do when you're determined. Like, there's no limits. You can turn whatever your love is into a career, whatever you're passionate about. You can make that something that can sustain you, and you don't have to conform to traditional norms of what you should be doing. I mean, we're 32 years old.
Oh, wow.
And we've been in business, it'll be 5 years this year. And we've been tremendously blessed. But there are so much more for us to accomplish and to learn and to do. I'm excited about those opportunities.
And I know when you did the interview with Chris Quintin in front of Pearl's Oyster Bar in 2016, you basically said, hey, there are social obligations. We don't have any.
Right.
I'm 34, people want me to get married, this and that and that. What are your obligations right now?
My obligations is just to make Cocktail Bandits as universal and as global as possible. And even going back to the last question, we went into our brand with good intentions. We didn't want to do negative press. We wanted to enhance people's business. We never wanted to take away from it. And we never wanted to critique anyone's art. Because what you deem as art, I might feel differently, but I can't tell you that what you're doing isn't art. So it just made us appreciate other artisans and what they're doing in the city, and just going in there with good intentions and just wanting to build in this place.
And I know, Johnny, you also told Chris Bennett this too in the 2016 interview, that you really didn't want to work 9 to 5, but you wanted to work on what you love.
Yeah.
How did you love cocktails?
Well, as Mika said earlier, when we were in sort of a transitional period, we really asked ourselves, what can we do every day and not get tired of it? And it was drink. It was drink every day. So we said, okay, how can we do this in a way that's educational, that's empowering, that it's going to make people feel good and actually show a different side to libations. And that's when we started to really get into the craft aspect of cocktails, showing how you can mix different local flavors, how you can work with different amaros and liqueurs, and really just add to whatever your dining experience is or your social experience. There's a beverage that can really take it to the next level. So I just feel so grateful to be able to be in this position. As Taneka said, we get a lot of opportunities. We travel a lot. We work with some amazing brands, and none of that is lost on us. And we try to share it through our lens, because so often you don't see carefree Black women enjoying themselves. And some people feel like all we should have to do is just work and just be this rat race, this 9 to 5, working for the weekend. And you don't have to work for the weekend. You can have enjoyment in your life throughout the week. You can take little sips and they can transport you to someplace else. So that's what we're trying to encourage.
What was your first drink ever?
Goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh. My first drink ever was, milk.
Straight from the breast?
Yes.
as the good Lord intended.
Just being honest.
Okay, yeah,
Nice and all natural. So that was my first drink. I think that what was so great about Charleston was that there was a mini bottle movement in 2006.
Right.
So in 2007, that was when the craft cocktail scene came to Charleston. That was also the same time we turned 21.
Wow.
So it was like serendipitous.
Okay.
So we were legally able to go out and drink and just see that we love this scene and figure out our space in it. Because I was bartending way before Cocktail Bandits started, and it wasn't looked at in the Black community as a career. It was looked at as something just to get on through. But I realized that it could be a career because the bars I was working at was making a lot of money,
Sure.
but they weren't creating an experience. And that's why I was so inspired to create an experience around drinks, like how chefs are the stars around here.
Yeah.
The bartenders are stars too. They make nights very cool and
Sure.
easy and fun, and they have a job too as well. So shout out to our bartenders in Charleston. We love y'all,
That's right.
and we wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for them.
I know that you also told the Charleston scene recently this quote, "We hope that the readers will learn more about the Charleston beverage scene historically and presently, and decide to experiment with some of the liquid assets found in the Holy City." Besides the cocktails, what are those other liquid assets in your mind?
Well, yes, tea is definitely a liquid asset. We have a lot of people who make local sodas here, like Cannonboro Beverage Company. Jack Rudy has a line of bitters, of tonics, and of syrups. Tippelman's, bitter milk. I mean, we have a lot of people who are producing amazing honeys that you can add that all, create amazing craft cocktails. We know a guy over at One Cup who's making his own jams. Southern Keep, they're so delicious.
They're very delicious.
So we want people to not think about cocktails in this like vodka tonic world. It's so much more to what you can be imbibing other than just a mixer and a spirit. So there are people who are creating, beautiful garnishes, people who are making their own tinctures in their backyard. I mean, our bartenders in Charleston are rock stars.
So creative.
They're winning awards all over the country.
Sure.
They are just really, Meg DeShane has a cocktail that's been featured in New York Times.
Wow.
Just dope stuff.
Yeah.
And it's right here in our small city of Charleston.
Yeah, and I say liquid assets are like anything that's bringing more to the economy. Our cocktail scene, when we go to other cities, we go to other cities often. It is so many more miles ahead of these other cities, and we're so young. We're one of the last states to change the bottle laws for us to even have craft cocktails. So they've been doing this in New York and San Fran and Chicago all these years, and now Charleston is stepping up, and they're stepping up with the force.
Right.
I know, Taneka, you told the Art magazine this recently, quote, "We're breaking down barriers. We're addressing stereotypes that no one is talking about in Charleston." Can you explain those stereotypes right now?
Like Johnny was saying, you don't see Black women in just leisurely fun pictures, photos. We did a whole movement just taking pictures with our hands, just so you can see brown hands in these photos, because you don't even see brown hands in drink photos at all. I feel like we've been able to tackle really difficult questions just in a setting that is more leisurely. Like we talk about different issues within race, politics, culture, over beverages in a very more relaxed setting than it would be in like a forum or I don't even know, like just in a more professional setting. We make it comfortable to come to us and talk about certain issues. We also understand that we're the only Black women in our position doing what we're doing anywhere. So just that in itself, we've inspired other people of color to not only do things with their cocktails, but just do things that they thought they didn't have a position to do them at. So we're showing women that you can do what you want.
And let me get back to the restaurant scene. You also said you wanted to see people of color in the food and beverage industry, meaning you, Johnny. What is that like in 2018 as we sit here? I work in the restaurant business. What is it like for the average person of color?
Well, I think going back to your question about stereotypes, there is this whole misnomer that people of color don't tip.
Yep.
And we instill and push that if you are getting good service, you are to compensate for that. I think people have this whole idea that bartenders are making all of this money and servers are making all this money, but they're really working for the tips of it all.
Sure.
So to be able to show people that there's a reason why your drink costs $12, and you should appreciate that, and you should also tip the person who created this, really nice beverage for you to enjoy. I think we are breaking down barriers with that, because people are looking at people of color not just as passive consumers, but active and educated people who want to be entertained when they're going out.
And most of the food and bev scene, especially downtown, is black back of house, white front of house. And I applied to 25 different places in Charleston, in downtown Charleston, before we started Cocktail Bandits. I didn't get a call back from one. They did me a favor now.
Yeah, of course.
They did me a favor. But just being able to see now we can go into any one of these bars, and they want us behind the bar, they want us featuring their stuff, they want us at the restaurant, they want us just in the pictures. That's changed the whole stereotype, because we used to go to bars and get treated like not the best.
Yeah.
But now we get treated very well. And there's still work to be done, but it's changed so much in the last 5 years.
What is that one word to describe the Charleston nightlife right now?
Oh gosh, stagnant. I think there needs to be some new life brought to the scene here as far as entertainment value in Charleston. When we were in college, when we first met at CFC in 2004, and the market was popping. Are you from the area, Quintin?
This is born and raised here.
That's all I love to hear. So we used to hang out at Purple Tree Lounge, City Bar, all that stuff on the market. And now there's nothing really going on the market. There's more of a side happening up on Upper King. And now when we have this brewery revolution here in Charleston, breweries are becoming like a third space. People are going to hang out there and imbibe, and they're providing live music. So there are a lot of different areas that people can enjoy, but not a central hub that's bringing in the Latinos, the people of color, and people to really mix and mingle and share. That's what we want to provide. When we put events on, our crowd is so mixed, it's so diverse. People are wanting to have a good time. People are coming who are pregnant just because they want to have a good experience, and they know that they can. We always have mocktails at our events, but we want to provide entertainment for everyone to be able to take in Charleston and get a different experience. So I think it needs some new energy in our nightlife scene right now.
My word would be opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity to be made in Charleston, and just because there's a new restaurant, a new bar opening every week doesn't mean that it's going to stay open. So believe in what you have going on. There's still pockets that need to be filled, and so I just look at it as an opportunity to be better.
Yeah. You've been doing Cocktail Bandits for 5 years. How many drinks have you drank?
Honey, I'm not going to say that on camera. Just know that half of them were water. It's about balance.
Oh, there you go.
We've had quite a few sips over the years. I would, hazard to say we've probably tasted more variety of spirits than the average bar professional. We've judged different competitions, not just on spirits, but wine, beer, fried chicken, just all certain things. Our palate is so tuned in, and it wasn't anything that you even think about in the beginning, how important your palate is. You really have to train that. You really have to sample 14 different honeys or 20 different gins to really pick up the botanicals. So it's all research is what we say.
It's work, and it's all work.
Yes. Gosh, you guys have gotten so many accolades, and you're very well known here in this town now. I know that you wanted to see different cities as far as what they have to offer. What is that next city in your mind?
Savannah.
For the takeover?
Savannah is like a sister city. It reminds us a lot of Charleston when Charleston was up and coming. And they've already reached out to us, and they expressed some interest, maybe even doing a potential book with them. But it's close enough, but it's still far enough where it's a different vibe.
For sure. I think we're gonna really stick to our southern roots. Taneka and I are both from South Carolina, and we want to show that southern foodways are so influential, not just in the South, but internationally. People are wanting shrimp and grits all over the world.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to always give that southern perspective wherever we are. Even if we're in Colorado, we'll be in the southern part of Colorado to show what they have going on out there, because it really makes a difference regionally on what people imbibe and what they enjoy. But I like New Orleans. I think
Yes.
New Orleans is a great extension. We've been there last year. We're going again in a couple of weeks. They also have a similar history to Charleston and Savannah with spirits and colonialism, and even, you know, with a little bit of haunted stuff going on. They just have a really rich food, you know, scene too. So I think that might be a good extension of the brand as well.
Hopefully we can get you the essence.
You know, from your mouth, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking into existence.
Jesus. Yes. And that brings me to my next point, your future. How would you describe your future in one word?
Exciting.
I think it's limitless. I think we can go in different directions. We get propositions all the time to do new, exciting new projects that we hadn't imagined. Even this book was far ahead of schedule.
Wow.
When it came to us, as you said, we got an email from our publisher one Friday night, totally out of the blue, and it's just taken us on a journey that we did not expect. So we're open to receiving whatever the universe has in store for us.
And hopefully employing more people of color, especially women, and getting them excited about the hospitality business, because we're proud to serve. I think that that's a misconception in the South, that we don't want to serve, but we're very proud to serve people, and we're very proud to show you Southern hospitality. So hopefully we have a team of women that we can provide that service for.
This might be a silly question, but what is something on the blog that you wish you could have written in this book here?
That's a great question, actually.
I'm gonna think about that.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about cocktails, and that's really important. But I think what we also do is reflect what's going on in our community.
Okay.
So there were some situations that happened politically in Charleston, specifically with Mother Emanuel, that deeply affected us. When the incident took place, we were less than a mile away from the church at the time in a group team meeting.
Wow.
And we talked in some of our different presentations about how, in a way to mourn, we went to a bar with other professionals so we could not be alone, so we could commiserate with people in our community.
Sure.
And I think that's something that should be explored a little bit more. That incident affected our community so deeply, and the healing isn't finished. And the dialogue really needs to be continuous. It's not something that can be handled with a statue or with a check. There is something in our society that we need to figure out. And I think if we had more opportunities to really express that, people from off will have more understanding of that incident here in our community.
I agree with that. I feel like there wasn't enough dialogue in our community about Mother. There's more dialogue outside of Charleston than in Charleston. And to have that in our book a little bit would have been awesome.
Where does that discussion go next?
I don't know. I think we just need to be having it. I think that's what the discussion is for, to figure out what the next step is. But we Southerners are so polite that we don't like to make people feel uncomfortable. And that discussion with Mother makes people feel very, very uncomfortable. So we just been avoiding it and, you know, pushing this whole love agenda. And there is a lot of love in Charleston, but clearly there's some hate happening, incidents like that are taking place. So we need to be discussing what the root cause of that energy is, and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Well, Taneka Reaves and Johnny Caldwell.
Let's not end on that note.
Yeah,
Let's bring it back.
Okay. Well, let me talk to you about the book party coming up this week.
Yes.
What do you expect from that? What do you want to hear from your readers?
I just want people to drink Charleston.
Okay.
Like, I really want people to understand that what we do is not just go out and drink every night. It's really bringing our culture together in a way where we're all understanding each other and understanding what is in our beverages, what we're putting in our bodies, and just being more educated when we go out to the bar scene.
I want people to be just inspired by what we're able to produce. Maybe your path isn't to make a book or to make a movie, but your journey is something else. And if you can see people like us who are in the community, who are young, who are making their own path, if that can inspire somebody else to, you know, make steps, you know, in the right direction for their life, I feel very proud about that, because, you know, people need to see that there's other routes and that there's another way that you can be living. So if we can be that example and we can be that, like, if those girls are doing it, I can do it too, that means the world to me.
And we're open for collaborations. There's just so much opportunity to work with fellow Charlestonians.
Sure.
So hopefully we meet some really creative people at our launch event and we do more events with them together.
That's so good to hear. So you got the movie coming out, and then you got.
That's right, Quintin. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's speak that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about
But we're
that
just
too.
having a good time, and we're very blessed, and we're very thankful to have people like you in the community that are acknowledging us, and just to keep growing together. We're all, this is a movement together. We're all doing this together. So we're just happy to be in the number.
That is so good to hear. Well, Taneka Reaves and Johnny Caldwell, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
And go get the book.
Holy
Yeah, please. There you
Spirits,
go.
Charleston Culture through Cocktails, guys.
That's right.